Hello, today I am joined by my friend and business coach, Carlos Bejar. Carlos, welcome.
Hi.
So, today we're talking about social media marketing and veterinary medicine. It seems like a bit of an oxymoron. Why the heck should those two things go together? So, Carlos, I'm really interested. Would you mind sharing with the audience your personal connection to the veterinary field?
Sure. Well, I met my girlfriend uh, back in 2015, and she was an aspiring veterinarian. Had attempted to get into vet med school a few times, and had been met with challenges. And when I met her, that was part of the plan, was for her to be on this journey, and that was something I essentially had to sign on for. And so, um, with that being said, it was quite a blind um, commitment. With that being said, but I enjoyed it, and I've been privy to a world that I had not previously had access to. And a level of insight and knowledge of what goes on behind the scenes that was quite interesting and sometimes challenging to hear and understand what you folks are going through. So, Jackie was a classmate of yours at Oregon State, and so that's how we actually met. But Jackie has recently graduated, like you did as well, and is moved on to the next stages of her journey, where she is currently studying at Cornell, or not studying. She's working at Cornell in an internship, and will be continuing on to become a vet cardiologist. So I'm deeply entrenched in the world, but only as a spectator, kind of.
Sure, sure. Yeah, that's quite a ride. So in 2015, you met Jackie, now practicing veterinarian and doing an internship. And when we first met, we were talking about business and entrepreneurship and marketing. Would you mind sharing your backstory of what first got you interested in helping small businesses?
Yeah, I, in my opinion, have been interested in entrepreneurship and business since I was a kid. I was that kid out there doing lemonade stands and garage sales, and went to the flea markets and all kinds. So I've always had an innate interest and desire to understand how business works. When social media came about, 10 years ago or so, I believed that there was different aspects of how we were using that, right? It wasn't just, in my opinion, place to just post things, and quickly noticed how businesses were using that as a platform to market and to make sales and to do a variety of functions, and use that as a great tool for their business growth and development. So for me, I found, by way of my own discovery and just interest in, clicking on YouTube videos and things of that nature, a gentleman named Gary Vee, and he is quite the character, but has a lot of interesting perspectives on business and social and digital marketing. And so I very much prescribe to the school of Gary Vee, if you will. And I really believe that a lot of his information is quite useful and impactful for folks who are in this space of trying to create a business or trying to create an audience for themselves on social media. And I think in a lot of ways, folks who are in the trenches of building their thing or being a sole proprietor, or, doing whatever it is they're passionate about, oftentimes promoting that or using marketing or social media becomes sort of a challenge, and usually a bottom of the list priority for those folks, because it can be such um, a challenge of, all right, well, how do I even figure this out? So when I discovered Gary Vee like 6 or 7 years ago, I really dove deep into his content and really absorbed that content with an academic and studious mind frame and lens. And so I've really been paying attention to how the different platforms maneuver and change and utilize the different dynamics and functionalities of these platforms for their sales and for their overall bottom line. So I've been in that space for, like I said, about 5 or 7 years studying. Recently realized that I want to help share that knowledge with others. I know that others, oftentimes don't even know who Gary Vee is, but have aspirations to grow in the TikTok space or want to, have a better digital presence on LinkedIn or even a website or promote their business, but just don't know how.
Sure.
I want to be able to share that with those folks and share my own insights and observations that I've found, not only from my own experiences, but from the people that I've worked with as well. And I've dabbled in a few different areas. I tried to start an app. I created a website, and really at the end of the day have settled on coaching and consulting for business and marketing purposes. I started dabbling in life coaching as well. And I actually like to infuse a little bit of that into the business coaching because I believe that it definitely applies in a lot of senses. And that's some of my own personal observations of what I've seen working with other clients, is that tends to be a necessary component.
Sure. And to add on to that, in terms of, life coaching and business, it's kind of like, if we take the example of athletics, professional sports, you really are unable to completely separate the mental game from the physical game.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of physical actions that are necessary when you're posting and creating content and trying to generate an audience on a social platform, right? There's a lot of activity that's required. And we're just talking about creating content. That's not responding and interacting and liking and going to their other people's pages and doing that whole bit. So there's a lot of activity that takes place. I also think that our society tends to place a lot of value on certain types of metrics like likes and comments and engagement of that nature, right? Where at the end of the day, if you're really trying to get your information out there or you're trying to build an audience, there's other things that you can do that are valuable, and it's not just the likes that matter. It's not just the comments that matter. So having a right mind frame and a right mindset to go about that and help infuse your actions, your day-to-day actions, with a mind coaching lens, if you will, of belief. Sometimes affirmations and certain things are good to add to the mix because it can be a daunting place, right? Social media can crush your ego sometimes. People can be pretty harsh in the comments.
If you let it, sure.
Yeah. So I do find that oftentimes the seemingly relentless challenge of building a social media audience can be supported with some mindset and life coaching techniques.
Definitely. So transitioning back to veterinary medicine just a little bit, Facebook, what was it, roughly 10 years ago, Facebook came out, it was really popular amongst the high school kids, but not a lot of businesses were using it. Now we fast forward to 2022, and to my knowledge, every veterinary practice has a Facebook. It's just part of business. And so it's really interesting, like you talked about Gary Vee, he talks about, social media in some ways is the coming attraction of what the future might hold. And so looking forward, are there any potentially newer social media platforms, and what might what benefit might they bring to businesses if businesses get started in a newer platform now?
I think there's definitely some strategy that can be infused at the early stages when you're really trying to think about what am I doing with my social media plan, right? Do I just go on and start a Facebook page because that's what all the other businesses are doing? Should I go on Instagram because that's where all my friends and family are at?
Mhm.
Uh, there's LinkedIn and TikTok. There's a variety of different places. So I think starting with a strategy of who is your audience and what is the message you're trying to get out. But then also understanding you can actually use a variety of these platforms for different things, right? While
Mhm.
Facebook used to be the catch-all place for just any social media content in general, when it was kind of the only horse in town, now there's different functionalities that actually make Facebook a good move, right? Their ads used to be quite expensive. These days, as other companies transition to other platforms, their ads actually have come down from what they were at one point. Facebook groups can be very beneficial for certain functionalities and having a tight knit unit of, building an audience. I think in terms of newer platforms that are out there, I mean, obviously TikTok is something that is probably the newest and is quite hot, if you will. And while some folks might think, well, TikTok is for kids who want to dance or for, people who are, singing and it's not my jam,
Flossing, all that, whatever.
you'd be surprised that there is a larger and growing older demographic that is joining that platform at a surprising rate these days. And there is a variety of content on there. So I think it's about having a strategy of where you want to place your content and where might your efforts be best suited to begin, because it can be such a daunting task to start up 3 different profiles on 3 different platforms and post on all those on a regular basis. Now, if you are going to prescribe to the Gary V school of knowledge, the idea is to post as much as humanly possible on the platforms that make sense. So I think depending on the business and the audience that they're trying to reach, LinkedIn is always a great place if you're in B2B, if you're in a business to business environment. Folks are definitely using LinkedIn as more of a content platform rather than what it used to be is just a job finding website. So now it's really become the Facebook for business, if you will.
Sure.
And I think that is a great place to start if you're in a B2B place. If you're in more of a B2C environment where you maybe just, for example, for veterinary example, maybe you're selling to pet owners, TikTok might be a great, use of your time. And if it's, to older folks, maybe, Facebook is also a great platform where a lot of, we'll say wiser generations are spending some of their attention.
Sure, sure.
But again, really understanding where your audience is spending their attention and doing some research around the conversations that are happening around your topic, around your business, around your industry. In each of those platforms, Gary Vee has a pretty interesting thing. He says, before you start posting, you should do 10 hours of homework on whatever platform. So if you want to start posting on TikTok, for example, start researching with a academic mindset and lens to study, not just to scroll and enjoy the fun, dog videos or cute cat
Talking
videos.
cats, yeah.
But really say, okay, what is the conversations happening around this particular topic that I want to jump into that conversation? So, these days, social media, if you will, is really a billboard that you can use to promote your business. And it's a perpetual billboard where the content is there forever. And oftentimes you can really do good things for free, in an organic sense where you're just creating organic content. You're not using paid advertising products on those platforms. So TikTok and LinkedIn are great places for organic reach that you can still create organic reach. Newer functionalities in YouTube actually are also coming up. YouTube Shorts is something that's pretty hot right now. So there's a variety of places that you could spend your time in, Andrew.
Sure, sure. And to touch base on the Gary Vee mentality again, he definitely emphasizes instead of the one or the other, Facebook or LinkedIn or TikTok, really you need all three to really get the best coverage. And this probably goes back to the idea of the 10 hours of research that you need to do before starting something. Because personally, in my social media journey, which we'll talk about more later, like mindfulness is a huge part of this. And I felt that by doing more research, I was able to be more mindful and to post content more. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I do. I think it does make a lot of sense. And especially if you are going to want to sell something or eventually ask your audience for something in return, right? Another Gary Vee school of knowledge theory is he often wants his folks or his followers to give as much value to the audience as possible. So if you're giving value on a regular basis, when you do ask, it makes it that much easier. So while yes, you want to utilize all of them and all of those platforms, it can be a daunting task to say, all right, well, I'm going to start 3 new platforms and I'm going to post on every one of them. Maybe thinking, what am I really good at? Self-awareness is important here. What am I good at? And how can I start with the chunk that I can bite off in a sense, and then work my way up to potentially posting on a variety of places or a variety of platforms all, simultaneously.
So, winding up our discussion here, we've worked together, over the course of on and off a few years. Would you be able to elaborate on how we've worked together in terms of business and coaching and kind of the growth? I'm hoping you've seen growth over time.
Yeah, definitely. It's been quite refreshing to work with you, Tyler, and seeing your growth has been something that's been most rewarding for myself. Oftentimes, clients will be interested in the knowledge, but be very hesitant to actually get in front of the camera and start creating the content that will help them. So I think the growth that I have seen is both in mindset and actual abilities as well, right? There's the technical aspects of the differences between your posts when you first started posting and how, your posts may be a little more effective these days in the technical aspects. But I also feel like when we first started working, there was a need for clarity in certain things, right? And there was a need for building that belief of what is it that I'm going for, and do I believe in that, and how do I solidify that belief, right?
Sure.
And then now to really see the growth from when you really started putting in the consistent post work on LinkedIn, for example, you can really see the growth in the engagement, right? You see the growth in and I'm seeing this on the back end because we're working together, but the DMs that are coming in and the messages that are coming in from folks who are both moved by your content, but also inspired or want to connect you with other people who might be a great fit for your content series and things of that nature. So to me, it's been quite interesting to follow in the journey and to see the growth. And that's one thing that I really love the most is the journey of growth and feeling that accomplishment, right? Like I said, I love business, but it's not just because I love money. I love business, I think, because I love to see how people grow and are interacting with others in a way that brings value to people, right? That's one of the best benefits of this theory that I believe and I follow of Gary Vee's is in terms of giving the most value as you can to your audience before you ask for something in return. Is I want to do good for the world. And I feel like if I am able to help others see that you can actually sell more and gain more audience traction by giving and giving value on a regular basis, then the salesy way of going about, hey, you should just buy my stuff because I got the best deal, or hey, you should buy my
Sure.
stuff because I'm the quickest and the fastest, and I'll beat Amazon or whatever. If you can give your audience extrinsic value that doesn't always apply to your everyday offer, if you will, of your services,
Mhm.
when you do ask for services, they might just sign up for them because of all the value that you've brought to them through your content. And so for me, that's a wonderful byproduct of being able to spread this theory, is that if we're all doing better and providing more value to the world, I think at the end of the day, it makes the world a better place.
Sure. And at the end of the day, it's all about relationships. It doesn't matter if you're direct to consumer, B2B, A to B to C, whatever. You're selling to people, you're selling benefit or value to people, and that's what it's really all about.
Yeah. I enjoy helping people. And like I said, for me, this is a beautiful union of being able to be in business in a sense where I'm helping folks expand on their businesses, expand on their business plans and their aspirations for, digital marketing or whatnot, but then also make myself feel good because I'm doing better in the world and I'm making an impact on people's lives. So that's really what drives me to help others and to continue working on my path of growth to become the best business coach that I can.
Sure. And was it Simon Sinek who said the most selfish thing you can do is help someone else, or someone said something like that?
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is kind of a selfish reason because I love the feeling that I get when I help you or others, right? Like the warm feeling that I get inside, I selfishly enjoy that very much so. So, at the end of the day, it's a wonderful, thing that I'm doing and would probably do, till my end days. It's something that I don't think I would ever retire from, if you will.
Sure, sure. All right, sounds good, Carlos. So, for the benefit of the audience, give them a shout out of how they can connect with you, meet up with you, and how you can help them on their journey.
Yeah. I'm definitely open to helping out folks who are, looking for guidance or strategy or full-time coaching and consultation for their business growth or business plans. Currently me and you are working together in building not only your content strategies, on social media and online, but we also work behind the scenes on, different business plans or different action plans for different goals, and life coaching aspects and things of that nature. So happy to help folks if they're looking for business help, organizational or business building help. And then, like I said, if they're trying to get on social and figure that whole madness out, definitely glad to help them out with that. You can find me on LinkedIn is one of the best places to find me. Find me at Don Carlos Vejar. Also, you can reach me on my email at dcvejar79@gmail.com. And then I am on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram as well. I tend to be less active on some of those platforms as I'm mostly focused on LinkedIn these days. But I think that if you're interested in working with me, definitely reach out. You can always reach out to Tyler and get in touch with me that way. But definitely happy to help folks. And send me information in a DM or comment on the bottom of this post. Happy to reach out and help folks. So looking forward to hearing from your audience.
Sounds great, Carlos. Well, thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you.